Hello there, welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be talking about the well-known, at least at Speaker's Corner anyway, well-known evangelist Hatun Tash. Now Hatun Tash has a reputation for being a fearless warrior in regards to evangelizing to Muslims at Speaker's Corner, and for doing so in quite a provocative way. She has donned Charlie Hebdo attire. She has a Quran that has holes drilled into it to talk about the holes in the narrative. She frequently debates any Muslim that she can. She's frequently at Speaker's Corner. She has put her own life at risk to do what she's doing. And on at least 2 separate occasions, Hatun and Tash has been arrested by police. She's been escorted into a police van and taken away from the park under the premise that she was breaching the peace. Now, this article has just come to light. Let me show you here. This is the Mail Online. Met Police apologizes to Christian preacher and pays 10 grand in damages after she was wrongly arrested twice at Speaker's Corner, having complained to officers about threats by Islamic protesters. So she has now finally, months after these events have happened, finally got confirmation that all along she was in the right. She wasn't doing anything wrong, but rather the police, their conduct was in the wrong by dragging her away from the park and not dealing with the people directly who were antagonizing her, who were making threats to her, who were being physically violent in some situations. They finally admitted their actions were at fault, which is, to be fair, at least something. I'm hoping in future this actually changes how the Met Police act in the park, because at the moment the way they police it is incredibly one-sided, it's incredibly biased, and in all honesty it's not just. And I think if any Muslims are watching, they should know also that it's not just the way that the police currently act in the park. So let's keep reading. The Met Police has paid out 10 grand in damages to a Christian evangelist preacher for wrongful arrest and unlawful imprisonment. Hatun Tash was twice arrested at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park after reporting to officers that she was being harassed and threatened by Islamic demonstrators. Miss Tash, 40, often would visit the park to debate, she still does, and critique Islam and the holy book, the Quran, which would spark backlash from the community. Instead of offering her support, the Times reported Miss Tash says she was arrested both times and she approached police instead of breaching the peace or committing a similar public order offence. The evangelist brought legal action against Scotland Yard after she was held in custody for 24 hours before being released without charge. So not only did they, in at least one case, drag her to a police van in cuffs, take her away from the park, arrest her, charge her with an offence, and then keep her for 24 hours in a cell, in a jail. Like, I have no idea how anything like that could be justified. No matter, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, atheist, you can see that that's unjust. You can see that's immoral. And it's sad that things like this are being used against Christians in particular. I've never seen this happen to a Muslim. I've never seen a Muslim attacked by a group of Christians, then the police coming in and trying to take away the Muslim and charging the Muslim. That I've never seen that, and I don't think I ever will. And the sad reason is because the police are biased in this situation. They're encouraged to treat minorities differently than what are perceived to be majorities. It's a sad fact of life. And here we have a picture of Hatun Tash. Now we have this video. This is a video recorded when she was attacked at Speaker's Corner. I think this happened last year. Let's take a quick look at this, because if you haven't seen this, it's pretty horrifying, really.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. What did I just witness? Oh my God. Whoa, my God.
So just keep in mind, the police was right behind and immediately went in pursuit of the attacker. Just a sort of spoiler, that actually results in nothing. The attacker isn't immediately apprehended on the scene, the attacker actually manages to escape. And as far as I know, the attacker is still actually at large. I don't think he's been caught, he or she. I'm pretty confident it's a he, though. Yep, still at large. The police have not done anything about that.
God! What did you do that for? I've got the ambulance.
Yeah, sorry. Who been stabbed? Who been stabbed? They're just speaking to the...
Yeah, I'm gonna report it afterwards.
Is it attack or what? Guys, come here.
Go ahead.
What happened?
So this video, let me pause this. This video clearly shows the absolute horrors that Christians have to face. I mean, mainly Hatun Tash. There have been cases against other Christian evangelists, but predominantly she's been the victim of pretty much all the most heinous things you can think of, and the latest one being that she was stabbed. The fact that when she is treated in an absolute horrendous way by Muslims around her, and the police do not treat this woman as a victim but rather as some sort of criminal, is just downright evil. If you ever want to see what evil looks like, you should watch some of the occasions where Hatun Tash is arrested, and you'll clearly see that there's something truly horrible about what the police are doing there. I honestly don't know how they can keep a clear conscience and do something like that, because it doesn't take a genius to figure out what you're doing. You're attacking an innocent lady. Let's keep looking at the article. Her legal team said it was abundantly clear, yeah, you could say that again, she never should have been arrested in the first place, claiming she was unlawfully detained. The police should have protected her free speech by bringing more officers to Speaker's Corner to facilitate her rights, a legal team said in a statement. Andrea Williams, chief executive of the Christian Legal Center, said, "This payout to Hatun is a rare admission by the police that they got it wrong." And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that we actually have it now, at least on paper, as some sort of judgment that the police cannot do this. This is a totally wrong behavior by police to ever think this was the appropriate way of dealing with the situation. Hatun is a fearless and passionate woman who loves Jesus, who has love and compassion for people from all backgrounds, who she debates with and wants to reach with the gospel, which has transformed her life, and dare I say it, transformed other people's lives as well. The publication reported Inspector Andy O'Donnell from the Met's Professional Standards Directorate apologized directly to Miss Tash in a letter. The letter reportedly said he was sorry for the distress that you have suffered, adding that on these occasions the level of service did fall below the required standard. That's one way of putting it. Did fall a little bit below the standard. It's understood the Met Police agreed to pay Miss Tash 10 grand in damages, as well as her legal costs. That's great. She was stabbed in the face by an unknown man dressed in black while she was in Speaker's Corner. There's plenty of video of this from different angles, by the way. Some of it is more horrifying than others. Police reportedly told her they're continuing to make inquiries about the incident. In other words, they haven't done anything yet to actually solve it. It's still ongoing. She was from a group called DCCI, Defend Christ, Critique Islam Ministries, which says it seeks to preach the gospel to Muslims using apologetics and polemics. Mail Online has contacted the Met Police regarding the reported payout. And yeah, you can see in this image, she's been stabbed in the face, so she's getting into the police van. And I like this bit here. Who is Hatun Tash, the ex-Muslim from Turkey who was now a regular at Speaker's Corner? It gives a nice little bit of background about who she is. Hatun Tash is a Christian preacher from a group called DCCI. Yep, we know that already. The 40-year-old is a former Muslim from Turkey who is now a prominent critic of Islam and believes Muslims should be encouraged to convert to Christianity. She has had many heated discussions with Islamic preachers and others, and has previously been attacked for brandishing a Quran which has been pierced with holes and waving a cartoon image of the Prophet Muhammad depicting as a crying baby. I don't know why they say things like Prophet Muhammad. I guess it's to say it's Islamic, but it's quite weird. Like, they never say the Prophet Jesus. I always think that's quite odd. DCCI Ministries seeks to preach the gospel to Muslims using apologetics and polemics. I think our motivation is a love for Muslims, to bring them to repentance and faith in Jesus Christ in order to attain eternal life. And that's something that I think is a really good point. If Hatun didn't actually love Muslims and didn't actually care about them, do you think she probably would have stopped when she was stabbed in the face? Do you think that maybe she would have thought it's not worth it? Like if she didn't really care, if it was all motivated by hate? I think the actual honest answer is that she actually cares probably more than we could imagine she does. And that's why she continues to do it when she's fully aware that her life is at risk, and she still comes and she still gives out the gospel. I think it's worth pointing out that you often see from Hatun Tash quite an aggressive stance. And I agree, it is an aggressive, polemical stance, but I think it does come from a position of love, because if it didn't, why on earth is she doing it? If you know people can come under the radar, come to the corner and try and kill you, why would you do it? I mean, well, you think she has like a long-term financial strategy of suing the police? I don't think so. I think Hatun's giving that money away to charity anyway. So, I mean, I think the only thing we can say is that she genuinely has a passion and love to bring Muslims to Jesus. And I think that's amazing, regardless of how she attempts to do that. In October 2020, Sadiq Khan was asked about Miss Tash at Mayor's Question Time and said police had escorted her out of Hyde Park for her own safety after a large and hostile crowd had gathered around her. You see, I still remember the good old days when your own safety was something that was supposed to be guaranteed by the police. You know, police are kind of there to ensure that people are safe. Apparently, that's not the case anymore. After a large and hostile crowd, gathered around her, he added that freedom of speech is a principle that I hold dear, adding, one of the best things about London is the fierce way in which we protect the right and people's ability to exercise it. I have severe reservations about Sadiq Khan for many reasons, but at least I'm glad he's supposedly siding with Hatun Tash on this one, which is good. But yeah, I thought I'd go through that article because I think it's good to know that Hatun Tash has actually got some justice now. The police have acknowledged that they have made a mistake. They made a failure on their behalf twice at least. Although in all honesty, there were other occasions I think she could have sued for as well. But I think maybe just going for the two big ones. And I'm just grateful that we're not a faith. We don't take part in a faith that does things like this. We don't believe in supremacy through violence or through intimidation, but we believe that love in and of itself is sufficient for bringing truth to light. And I encourage everyone watching, first of all, to pray for Hatun, and for those that work with her, because obviously, you know, what she does is a challenging and difficult and dangerous thing on a daily basis. But also, if you're not Christian, to look at the person of Jesus, because Jesus didn't do these kind of tactics. He didn't encourage people to use intimidation. And whenever there was any sort of sign of violence, Jesus was the first one to say, look, those who live by the sword will surely die by the sword. Come to Jesus. He's the way, the truth, and the life. God bless. Have a lovely day.